When was the most revolutionary moment in the history of human evolution? It was approximately 6 million years ago, the moment our ancestors first stood upright on the ground. This period marks the point where the hominin lineage began to diverge from the common ancestor shared with chimpanzees, making it one of the most debated and mysterious points in evolutionary history. The subject of our exploration today is a key candidate from the Late Miocene, Orrorin tugenensis. Orrorin left behind the earliest evidence of bipedalism, the most distinctive characteristic of the human lineage, rewriting the history of our ancestry. The existence of Orrorin tugenensis was not completed by a single dramatic discovery. Its beginning was much earlier than expected. In 1974, paleoanthropologist Martin Pickford found a single mandibular molar in the Lukeino Formation of the Tugen Hills, providing the very first clue. Although it was classified merely as a Miocene hominoid fossil at the time, this molar later became one of the standard specimens defining the Orrorin species. Brigitte Senut and Pickford, leading a joint research team, discovered crucial fossils, including femurs, in the same area and officially named the species Orrorin, meaning original man. The strongest evidence classifying Orrorin as a hominin comes from 3 femur fossils. Beyond just the external shape of the bone, scientists analyzed the internal structure using CT scans. This analysis clearly demonstrated Orrorin's ability to walk upright on the ground. The inferior, lower cortex of the femoral neck is significantly thicker than the superior upper cortex. This asymmetrical structure shows that the compressive stress pattern applied to the bone in an upright stance was different from that of extant apes, representing core structural evidence that the morphology was adapted for human locomotion. A wedge-shaped support structure called the calcar femorale developed inside the bone. This structure provides the powerful internal support necessary for modern human bipedalism. This means that Orrorin's femur was mechanically adapted for bipedal locomotion. A groove for the obturator externus muscle on the femoral neck demonstrates that the bone regularly performed movements associated with full extension, i.e., movements related to upright walking. Orrorin was a biped, but not an obligate biped fully committed to life on the ground. They retained a mosaic set of adaptations, carrying the legacy of their hominoid ancestors. The morphology of the discovered curved finger bones and humerus suggests that Orrorin was highly skilled at grasping branches and climbing in the trees. They walked on the ground, but likely spent much time in the trees for predator avoidance or foraging. Orrorin's teeth had thick enamel, and the size of the canines was comparable to those of a female chimpanzee. This suggests they consumed tough and diverse food resources obtained from the forest and wooded environment. Based on the analysis results showing that the femur morphology and dental enamel thickness were more similar to Homo sapiens, the discoverers proposed the possibility that Orrorin was a direct ancestor who bypassed Australopithecus and led directly to the Homo genus. However, current evidence is insufficient to conclusively assert that Orrorin is the direct ancestor of Homo. Orrorin triggered fierce systematic competition with Ardipithecus ramidus, another contemporary early hominin candidate. This competition was central to determining the root of the human lineage. Orrorin gained a temporal advantage, as its estimated age of approximately 6.0 million years was deemed significantly older than A. ramidus. Orrorin's discovery in a wooded environment, not an open savanna, put forth a new environmental hypothesis. that the origin of bipedalism might lie in wooded settings. The long-standing prevailing hypothesis in paleoanthropology was that a reduction in African forests due to climate change led to the expansion of open savanna, prompting hominoid ancestors to stand upright on the ground for foraging or predator surveillance. However, the paleoenvironmental analysis of the Lukeino Formation in Kenya, where Orrorin tugenensis was found, contradicted this hypothesis. Orrorin lived in a wooded environment, not an entirely open savanna. Specifically, faunal and soil chemical evidence suggested a local setting featuring a gallery forest along water channels, gradually transitioning into open bushland away from the water. Orrorin's discovery overturns the notion that bipedalism evolved merely as a survival tool in the open savanna, proposing instead that bipedal locomotion may have emerged primitively within a wooded habitat. Orrorin's story proves that the ancestor of the human race did not emerge from a single path, but evolved through a competition involving diverse evolutionary experiments to find our unique way. The root of humanity remains a complex maze, but Orrorin is the most vital torch illuminating that labyrinth.